because that's what they were talking about. And you can hear them kind of whispering, and then the only thing that you can hear is "no, no, no," as from the older gentleman as he walks back out with a bunch of looks like jewelry. The guys following them out. Hi, you want to see our wares? This is what we have left.
I
And he holds out
inspect.
a handful of jewelry. You inspect
Oh, where did you by chance receive this jewelry?
it? Down in Mistwatch, where we come from. We came up here. We've been up here for a little time, traveling the roads, selling to who we run across, who we see, and this is what we have left. It's what, to be perfectly honest, it's not the best of our wares, and I can understand why it's what we have left.
Can I inspect the jewelry to see if anything's off about it?
You can. Go ahead and roll a something.
Perception, if I perceive anything about it.
Roll an appraise.
And while he's inspecting it, I will come out on the path and yell out, "Ow! Ow! Ow! Ford, where have you gone now? I've twisted my ankle. Please help me."
I got a 16 on the appraise check.
And I use my
Whoops.
quarterstaff to hobble up. Ford, why did you run off? Ow!
Oh dear, I was just checking for a shortcut, and these rude men seem to think I'm here to kill them or something.
You left me alone again, and I've gone and twisted my ankle. It hurts so much.
Upon seeing the gnome come out, the big guy turns and is kind of trying to keep both of you in sight at this point. Obviously, apparently suspicious because another person showed up just kind of late in the conversation. The older gentleman is also a bit surprised and like, okay, what's going on here? But you can see as he looks around, you can see him kind of start thinking about something.
See, this here's my dear sister. As I told you, we're trying to leave or go anywhere but home. And we're worried that the people are following us, and that those who are following us are the ones who are making the villagers disappear.
I'm sorry, sirs. Do you have a place I can sit down? I've twisted my ankle and it hurts so much. Oh. I knew we shouldn't have gone down this path.
The men who were chasing us found us in the main path, the first place they'd look.
Roll a bluff. Neffy.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it! My bluff's high. For what it's worth, my bluff got a 19. So they believe my story.
The elderly gentleman looks at the two of you and you can see as he sees Neffy hobbling along, his face gets a little more relaxed, and he gestures over. Oh, of course, come over here. Sit by the fire. There's a log over there. It's not the most comfortable. You can rest your feet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your kindness.
The big guy kind of looks at the shorter guy, kind of side-eyed while trying to kind of keep an eye on everything else. And the shorter guy kind of pats him on the shoulder.
While this is going on, can I try to sneak up further up this way, behind this wall up here?
You can go ahead and make.
Wow.
I'm over here working my hardest to make these people believe me.
Oh god!
As you you kind of duck across the opening there. Just hold on. That's fine. Amazingly, them notice. They both natural 1 and natural 2. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
my ankle!
The older gentleman is packed for something, and he pulls out what looks like basically what looks like a somewhat of a medical kit, kind of. It looks like about a half of a medical kit. It's got some bandages. It's got like a little packet of herbs of some sort. But it definitely looks
like
like
a little to-go kit of
exactly.
first aids almost.
Whatever a good traveler needs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully, whatever the traveler needs.
Mediocre traveler.
Yeah.
The big guy is kind of taking his little guy and takes his hand away from his sword and steps over. Still suspicious, but kind of okay, fine. And say he ends here, kind of leaning against the wall, arms crossed, just kind of watching things. You kind of gather that he isn't necessarily himself; he's more bodyguard type. So, the old man is going about and like trying to here. Let me take a look at that angle. Which one was it?
Oh, it's my left one. Careful, it hurts so much.
Takes a look. The big guy is observing Ford more than he's paying attention to what's happening at the fire. And just kind of keeping an eye on him.
Ow. Careful.
And the old gentleman is kind of starting to... It looks okay. It looks like it should heal relatively soon. Relatively quickly. It doesn't look too bad. It hasn't started swelling. I would kind of take not put too much weight on it for a while.
Oh, but we're traveling. We've got to keep going.
Well, you could at least for a short while stay with us. Now that I know, and he looks back at now that I know why you're really here. We could definitely share our campsite for a night or two, for as long as. Probably won't be for long, but over here you're welcome to stay with us.
Oh, do you mean that? That's so scary out here in the woods.
I really can't thank you enough, sir. Having an extra especially with your big friend over there, having another person to help us guard. We'll get a big weight off my shoulders. I actually can rest tonight.
Of course. We just like you are concerned about the possibility of people disappearing, and we prefer not to be those people. And you must excuse my suspicion. Just you showing up out of nowhere.
He has such long legs. He always leaves me behind.
I told you it's because we can't get caught. You know what they'll do to us.
Go ahead and roll another, just for the heck of it.
Which one of us?
Neffy.
That's better.
Oh, that's better.
He pats your shoulders like there, but it'll be okay. We'll help you out as much as we can. The big guy in the back just kind of rolls his eyes.
You're so kind.
The older gentleman, Mantelian, turns to the bigger man. Go and get our guests some water, Bob. Bob goes into the tent, kind of.
Do you have anything stronger?
Mantelian calls out, and maybe some ale as well.
Thank you.
Bob goes into the tent, kind of out of sight.
So can I see if there is a way to get into this tower from this side where I'm on?
You can definitely head around. At this point, let's do this. You basically can see all the important things now.
Can I, before Bob comes out, can I cast Prestidigitation?
Prestidigitation?
To do
I
what?
can't pronounce that.
That's why I said it for you.
Well, I want to make a very loud explosion sound come from inside of the tent.
I don't.
Aren't we trying to?
I want to see what that actually does.
I don't think it makes sounds. You can clean
Well, me and
things.
Sarn spoke before when I was making my character if we could for sound because there's no spell that creates sound.
Well, ghost sound.
Other than ghost sound.
Well, that's not available to Bard.
Prestidigitation, you can change the color, clean something, soil something, make it warmer or colder. I also have that ability.
You can flavor 1 pound of non-living material.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You can make leather taste like jerky.
Cake.
Or cake. You can make a piece of wood taste like a steak. I don't know.
Prestidigitation specifically lacks the power to duplicate any other spell effects. For example,
I know, but I
like
spoke to you and asked if you would allow me to use it for sound when I was creating this character. You agreed.
I don't remember that. Okay, you could do a very small one. You wouldn't be able to make a.
It's loud enough that it can be heard by us out here.
Basically, those tiny little snapper popper things you throw against the snap? That's about what you can do.
Can I make it sound like a couple of them went off?
Sure.
Alright. I got a 16 on it.
You don't actually need to roll for that. It just happens. You make some snapping popper sounds happen from in the tent. Pop, 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 pop. Almost sounds like popcorn popping. And then you hear a large crash. Bob comes out holding the top half of a glass bottle. And also another, like a small keg.
A small keg.
And, it's a small one, maybe, I don't know, toaster
like
size.
a gallon's worth?
A gnome-sized
like a
keg.
a traveler's keg. And he looks at Ford, kind of. He looks at Ford, kind of glaring at him. You do that?
How could I do that? I'm no magician.
He looks at
Dance and sing songs.
Mantelon. Like, did he do that? Mantelon looks up and kind of shrugs. Do what? And Bob just kind of shakes his head and
So while Bob is out of the tent,
Yes.
can I maneuver my way over to the tent area and try to slip underneath the edge of it?
You can.
Please don't roll a 1, Panda.
Oh,
Go ahead and
please
roll
don't
a
roll a
stealth
1,
check.
Roll high,
Panda.
roll high, roll high.
Make a what check?
Stealth check, please.
Roll high.
Maybe Panda isn't a stealther anymore.
Oh my god!
I even
You don't even have a modifier to stealth? Oh dear.
I distracted him. I used my thing to make a popping sound, and he dropped stuff. And he turned around and walked out. And you rolled a fucking 1.
Yep.
Panda,
I was
as
doing
you're
mediocre with stealth before.
trying to sneak under there, you basically trip and fall into the tent and make a decently loud clamor about it. Bob hears that, sets the keg down, and kind of rushes off, and it kind of yelling like, "Hey,
Finds
what's
me
that over there?"
tangled.
And he sees you like, "Come on, you!" And kind of grabs like the corner, like almost like the collar of your tunic, robe, shirt, whatever you're wearing, and kind of drags you towards the
Okay,
camp,
before... Well,
or attempts to
I
at
don't-
least.
I would actually like to attempt to attack him with Stunning Fist.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna have you roll initiative with him.
You got mad when I tried to attack him.
I'm stunning him. Oh my god. Why am I bothering?
Well,
Maybe you should start rolling
Um,
pistol
Oh
dice.
my goodness.
you do go first
Oh, good.
because he rolled a 3.
Oh, good. This is not terrible. Okay. Let's see.
Good old Bob.
Whatever. I'll keep track of it. Bob, go ahead and roll your attack.
Let's see. So I'm going to attack him, and if it succeeds, it should just stun him for a
Okay.
round, from what I can tell.
Go ahead and roll.
What?
Oh wow.
You
My
swing.
not my night. Not my
But your
night.
ankle is still tangled up in the ropes around the bottom of the tent. You swing at him, but you can't miss, or you can't hit him.
Good.
He
That was exactly what I was expecting to happen. That's what I wanted.
he is going to go and attempt to grapple you. I guess would be, he's basically attempting to grab you and drag you out.
Yeah, essentially. In that case, I believe it's his CMB.
Yes, versus your
CMD. I believe for grappling.
yes.
So he has to beat a 13.
Okay. Okay.
This is not how I was expecting this to happen.
Okay, so he rolls poorly.
I'm okay with it.
Yes,
He
totally fine.
reaches, tries to grab you, but your misstep in the rope there puts you kind of off balance enough that you're kind of falling backwards out of his reach.
Yay.
Go ahead and what do you do now? Actually, when he does it, hey boss, there's another one back here.
When
And Mantellin looks at him like, another one of yours, kind of with a cocked eyebrow.
well, I was about to say, and then you guys started. Ford passes out onto the ground.
Okay,
Okay.
so that happens, and
I kind of
Asila
temporarily.
Yeah.
Ford kind of gets up, shakes his head, and goes, "Oh, what did justice do? What did I do to justice to deserve this?" I sits back up and goes, "Where am I right now?"
Mantellin looks at you kind of strangely, but yells out to Bob, "Don't hurt her unless don't hurt them," because he doesn't know who you are. Don't hurt them. Bob just kind of grunts. Asila, it's your move.
If he's not attacking me, she does get in a defensive position, and just kind of eyes him up and down and says, "What's inside the tent?" Her Alexandrite eyes are I think they're a green in the natural light right now.
Okay.
So her eyes kind of sparkle green.
Okay. He kind of gets into a wrestler crouch as well, kind of trying to match you more or less. What are you doing here?
Following up on a lead.
A lead. So you come digging into people's tents?
Not usually, but you're fairly suspicious, I have to say. 4 horses for 2 men.
Come on out here. Boss will want to talk to you.
I'll follow. Just don't touch.
As long as you don't misbehave.
We have a deal.
Hello, good sir. How are you faring today?
Shut up, you.
Well, that's rather rude for someone you just met.
Look who's talking.
I just got
Mantellin steps forward and is like, excuse me, my name is Mantellin. What is yours?
Who's he speaking to?
You, Asila.
Oh, she lowers her guard slightly and looks at him. Asila.
Nice to meet you, Asila. Are you here with these fellows here?
Yes.
Asila, is that you? Oh, we thought we'd lost you. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well, come on over then. And he gestures over to the log and kind of steps over.
Can you imagine how hard it is for us to keep up with this long-legged fellow? Oh, my goodness.
I do indeed. As you can tell, my companion here is a bit taller than I am, and it does make it a bit hard to keep up as he's moving swiftly.
What is the old guy? Is he a human or?
He's a short human.
A short human. Okay.
Not quite as short as you, but pretty short.
Yeah, shorter. Short for a human.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again for your kindness.
Neffy, are you okay? Trying to play along.
I twisted my ankle. The pain is quite much. Was there a beverage?
Mantellin gestures over, and Bob goes and retrieves the keg that he had dropped, and brings it back over.
Mantellin, you said your name was.
Indeed.
Why are you here in these ruins?
Well, we are traveling merchants. As I was explaining to you, your taller friend here. I don't recall your name, sir.
Ah, I'm sorry for not making the introductions. My name is Ford Bluntworth. I do that kind of like, hand behind back, hand in front bow. Good to meet you, sir. I believe I have not caught your name.
My name is Mantalon. I introduced myself to you earlier.
I'm sorry. Don't seem to recall the last half an hour.
Really?
Interesting.
Remember,
Both Asila and Neffy just kind of look at him like, what?
Quite honestly.
Mantalon,
I think my cup is empty.
Mantalon kind of looks at the three of you kind of back and forth. I'm sorry about that.
I think our companion suffered a hit to the head from the bandits we were running from.
This actually happens quite frequently. I'll lose blocks of time very, very frequently. And this just seemed to be a very inopportune moment for it to have happened.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for letting us know.
I apologize if in this block of time I've offended you in any kind of way. It's not me.
Uh-huh.
Right. So,
Sorry.
like I was saying,
Sorry.
Do you have business out in this area then, as merchants?
Yes, we were actually just returning. What was that town, Bob, that went up that way? Worse. Yes. Unfortunate name, but we'd been there not too long ago. We'd sold some of our wares and to a couple of the other smaller shanties and towns along the edge of the bay, and we were heading our way back down to resupply, as it were.
Oh, you're heading back. Where do you hail from?
Most recently of Mistwatch, although originally I'm from further south, Cardell actually. Not really sure where Bob is from. Kind of looks up at Bob, who just kind of grunts.
As a merchant, you deal with other merchants frequently, right?
Occasionally, we're more the traveling type. Pass someone on the road, perhaps. We don't really get to know people just because they're rarely around long.
Could I ask you, have you met a merchant named Adrian recently?
Adrian. The name doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid. Describe this Adrian to me.
Unfortunately, I didn't get much of a description myself. He's a missing merchant.
Oh, pity. Well, I'm glad I have
Could I
Bob here to
actually,
protect me.
what do I want to use? I want to use, sense motive, to see if he actually doesn't know Adrian.
Okay, go ahead.
Wow, I really rolled a 3. Oh my god, tonight is not my night.
And maybe start using actual dice.
Probably
He
wouldn't
appears
help.
to be telling the truth. He doesn't have any sign recognize that name.
Oh, good. You're a truth teller. I like that.
How come you're on this less traveled path?
Well, just in general, traveling merchants are favorable targets for bandits, and so we try to stay off the beaten path whenever we have to camp. And so we decided it's probably best for us. The last time we were up here, we actually stumbled across this place. Decided that it would be a good place to camp anytime that we just decided to stay here in this area. If we needed to pause at any time, this would be a good place to.
In your traveling to and fro, have you seen met other people along the road besides us?
Occasionally, we'll pass someone on the road. Not a lot of people coming up north or going south on this road very often, but I've seen a few people.
Any dwarves or half-elves?
He looks over at Bob, kind of trying to remember. Bob just stands there, just kind of arms crossed, just I don't know, kind of look. Mantellan thinks and like dwarves. No, not. Was actually heading south from this last dwarf I saw on the road. That was months ago. Half elf. There was that one half elf a week or so ago, maybe. Headed off down south. We passed her on our way up here.
Was she taller, dark reddish brown hair?
Yes, I think she was. Looked like she was in a hurry.
In a hurry, like running from something or running to something?
Well, no, just not running, but she was walking quickly, wasn't paying too much attention to what she
Interesting.
seemed focused, maybe is a better word. Lost in thought, perhaps.
Okay.
Well, this is an interesting campsite you've found here.
Yes, the ruins of the old watchtower make it a great place to set up camp, extra shelter, defense if needed, but thankfully it's never come to that.
And as I came up, I noticed your horses. They're quite beautiful.
Yeah, they're passable. They're not the greatest of horses. We're not rich men by any means.
So is it just the two of you?
At the moment, yes. It's just myself and Bob here. We had a couple other guards, but they left. Traitors.
Left. Why did they leave?
I don't know. Maybe they thought it was boring. Maybe they thought I paid enough. I mean, I paid them plenty to keep me safe on the trails. I mean, apparently it wasn't enough.
Do you think something scared them off, or they just, like you said, got bored and didn't want to work for you anymore?
It's not often
I
that people run
don't
from
know.
gold given to them.
I don't know for sure, actually. One morning we woke up, Jam, I think, was on watch, and when I woke up and stepped outside, he wasn't there anymore. And Ben was missing as well, so I'm assuming they just decided to leave, although your stories about people going missing make me a bit more concerned.
Yes, I mean, if they decided to leave, why didn't they take the horses?
That's an excellent question. I don't know the answer. Maybe it's some sort of magical beastie that likes taste of human, or some fairy creature that lured them off, or I have no idea.
And you didn't notice anything unusual recently or during that night?
No, I went to bed and they were there, and I woke up and they were not.
Well, thank you for your hospitality. We will, if you will let us, we'll stay here for a while with you. And you're heading back south, you said?
That's right, back to Mistwatch. We're going to resupply and then perhaps come back up this direction, perhaps head east, perhaps head south.
Well,
Try to pick up some tails and see where the selling is good.
Well, we're heading in the same direction. Asila, maybe we should accompany them. And Ford, what do you think? I mean, he's down a couple guards, and we could help.
I'm a little lost here, but I'm at a little bit of a loss as to what's going on. I'm kind of confused, but I have no problem helping defend some people.
How long did you say this blackout lasted? Half an hour?
I don't know. By looking at the time of day is what I can guess, but really the last thing I remember was leaving the town.
Okay, so you do recall why we are on the road.
That.
Well, that's something at least. Yes, if you wouldn't mind us staying with you for a night or two, or traveling with you, we could, in exchange, offer our services as extra protection.
I mean, we're a little motley crew, but I think I can hobble along with my sore ankle and keep you company.
Mantellan clasps his hands in front of him, kind of looking like he just made a deal, kind of pleasantly pleased with the arrangements. That would be fantastic. I would be, in fact, willing to pay you. Regarding as my former guards seem to have disappeared, and I no longer need to pay them.
Well, how fortunate for us and unfortunate for them.
Indeed. Bob, did you finally get that keg open? Bob's just been standing there with it under his arm. Do you want me to open it? Fine. Knocks the cork out.
Asila does not partake.
Bob is just kind of holding it and like, I suppose you want me to get mugs or something too, right?
Well,
I'm sure nephew wouldn't be against you just pouring it into her mouth.
Well, I was gonna say, if you feel it's necessary, you can get mugs. Otherwise, I can just, drink it.
Lay myself underneath it.
Bob just kind of heads back into the tent, still holding the mini keg in his arm, and comes back with a handful of mugs, one for everyone. Fills them all up, hands one to each of you. Asila, thank yous. And
I hold the mug of ale, but I don't drink it.
okay.
Same thing, and I apologize, stating that I don't partake.
Well, if you're not gonna drink it, I will partake for you.
I enter my hug.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Mantellan takes the mug and kind of holds it up for cheers, and doesn't see everyone partaking, but cheerses and takes a nice long swig. That's good.
To new opportunities.
Indeed.
To new business partners.
Bob, what do we have for food? I don't know.
Oh,
you packed it.
Famished.
Bob, go see what you can rustle up. Bob goes and gets food. It's probably almost dinner time by now. Goes and gets some food. It's standard kind of trail rations, dried food mostly. Mantellan starts cooking. You can tell by the way he's moving that he knows his way around mixing things together to create good results. Looks like he knows what he's doing. He's mixing together a soup of some sort.
Mantellan, you look like a very skilled cook. I can't wait to see what you've created for us.
Indeed, before the wanderlust came upon me, I did some cooking. I served in an inn, and well, then decided travel was an opportunity for me.
Ah, yes, the call of the open road. I know it well.
Indeed. Starts mixing soup. Bob. Yeah. Why don't you go get some more? What am I, your manservant now? Bob? Fine. Bob goes and gets a handful of bowls, some spoons, basic dishes. Brings them back out. And hands them around. Mantellum fills the bowl of soup, kind of ladling it out, giving Bob and Ford larger portions. And then hands them out, eat up, and starts eating the soup.
Mmm, delicious. Better than I expected.
Bob just kind of sits over, kind of leans against the wall here, eating his. Still kind of suspicious, but you can see he's kind of starting to let his guard down. He's not sitting with his hand on the sword all the time.
He is eating his soup.
Yeah, they both are.
Okay, then Asila will also eat.
As well as Ford. He exclaims this is the best soup he's ever had in his life.
Mine's
Everyone's
empty. Can I
suspicious.
have some more?
Absolutely.
Aw.
Help yourself.
You owe somebody the chance to have this amazing meal. It's like, just slurping it down.
And Bob both go and grab bedrolls out of the tent, lay them out outside here. Lays out, kind of blocking the pathway into the tent. Still a little suspicious, but not
Asila
completely.
is going to stay awake
Okay.
for most of the night.
Okay.
About probably 2/3 of the way through the night, she'll probably like wake up Ford or Neffy and tell them to, hey, keep watch while I get some sleep.
Sure. So Bob lays his bedroll out, but kind of stands walking around the camp. He's obviously used to staying watch, and so he's kind of doing first watch. As everyone's kind of settling down, he kind of motions to, or kind of pulls Ford aside. Like, okay, you got second watch?
Yeah, sounds like a plan, I guess.
Okay.
Wait, I missed what you said.
Who
What?
wants third? Bob is kind of settling himself out, but he doesn't actually get in his bedroll. He went over to Ford and said, hey, you got second watch?
Okay.
And Ford said yes. And Bob looks over at the rest of the group and you're like, Dwarf, you want third? I don't think the little one's going to be too much use for a watch tonight, and between the two of us, I don't want Mentel on watch.
I think you're probably right. I'll take third.
Sounds good. So he just kind of stays sitting at the fire on the end of the log there. His bedroll is in front of the tent there. Mantellum kind of lays next to the fire. You guys can throw your bedrolls down. And Asila's gonna stay awake.
Asila's staying awake probably for the most of the night, keeping an eye on Bob. She'll tell Ford to stay awake, get some sleep, and then she'll wake up again for her shift later.
Okay. Well, Asila stays awake. The rest of Talon, Ford, Neffy go to sleep, and Bob is watching the fire. Every once in a while getting up, walking around, kind of making sure everything's good, patting down the horses, that kind of thing. And that's where we'll leave off.